The rescue. The universe had no mercy for the dying. Ambassador Sarah Chen knew this truth as she floated through the endless black void. Her oxygen meter blinked red. 12 minutes left. The debris of her diplomatic ship, the UES Harmony, drifted around her like metallic snowflakes. Each piece reminded her of the attack 3 days ago. Space pirates had torn through her ship's shields in seconds. They hadn't even demanded cargo. They just destroyed everything and left. Sarah was the only survivor because she had been in the reinforced panic room when they struck. Now, that same panic room had become her coffin, drifting through space. Earth was just a blue dot in the distance now, too far for any rescue, too far for goodbye. Sarah closed her eyes and thought about her daughter, Maya. The little girl would grow up without a mother. The thought hurt more than the cold seeping through her damaged suit. 10 minutes of oxygen left. Sarah opened her eyes to watch the stars one last time. That's when she saw it. A ship emerged from the darkness, but this wasn't human design. The vessel looked like it was carved from purple crystal with lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. Sarah had seen every type of ship in her 10 years as Earth's ambassador. This was something new. The ship moved closer. Sarah's translator crackled to life. Human? Still alive? The voice sounded surprised. Sarah pressed her communicator with numb fingers. Yes, but not for long. Please, help. Silence filled the void. Then the purple ship's bottom opened. A beam of white light pulled Sarah inside. She landed on a soft, warm surface. The air tasted strange but breathable. Sarah pulled off her helmet and gasped. Real air. She was going to live. 3 beings stood before her. They were tall, maybe 7 feet, with gray skin that seemed to shimmer. Their eyes were large and silver, showing no pupils. They had 4 arms each, and their faces looked almost human, but stretched longer. You are safe now, the middle one said. Its voice was deep but gentle. I am Captain Zork of the Kralon vessel Star Whisper. Sarah stood up slowly. Her legs shook. Thank you. You saved my life. I'm Ambassador Sarah Chen from Earth. Captain Zork tilted his head. We know who you are. We have been watching. The pirates who destroyed your ship. They are called the Void Hunters. They destroy for pleasure. You've been watching the attack? Sarah asked. Yes, for 3 days. Our law forbids us from interfering with other species' conflicts. Zork's silver eyes dimmed. But something about watching you die alone. It was wrong. My crew voted. We chose to break our oldest law to save you. Sarah noticed the other 2 aliens looked nervous. They kept checking their screens and whispering in their language. You broke your law for me? Why? Captain Zork walked to a window. Outside, stars streamed past. Come. You need medical attention, but first you should understand something. He led Sarah through corridors that glowed with soft blue light. They passed several rooms filled with Kralons, but Sarah noticed something wrong. Many were children, huddled together. They looked scared. Some were injured with purple blood on their clothes. Captain, what happened to them? Zork stopped at a medical bay. The same pirates who attacked you have been hunting us for 2 years. We once had 50 colony worlds. Now, we hide in 3 ships. Only 10,000 Kralons remain in the entire galaxy. A smaller Kralon, possibly a child, peeked from behind a door. It had a bandage over one eye. Sarah's heart broke. The Void Hunters? She asked. Yes. They discovered our healing technology. They wanted it. We refused. So they decided if they couldn't have it, no one would. They're systematically exterminating us. Sarah felt rage build in her chest. Why doesn't anyone help you? Sarah felt rage build in her chest. Why doesn't anyone help you? We are not warriors. We are healers and scientists, and we followed the non-interference law. We helped no one, so no one helps us. Zork's voice carried deep sadness. "Until today, we saved you because watching another being die alone felt too familiar." The medical bay door opened. A female Krylon gestured for Sarah to enter. As Sarah lay on the examination table, she noticed something on the wall. Pictures of destroyed Krylon cities. Thousands of faces, probably dead now. "Captain Zork," Sarah said firmly, "I need to send a message to Earth. Now. Your people cannot reach you here. We are too far." "Maybe. But they need to know what you did and what's happening to your people." Suddenly, alarms screamed through the ship. Red lights flashed. A younger Krylon ran in, terror in his silver eyes. "Captain, the Void Hunters, they found us." Earth's response. The message traveled through space for 16 hours before it reached Earth. Admiral Marcus Johnson was drinking his morning coffee in Earth Defense Command when every screen in the room turned red. Priority 1 transmission, origin unknown. He hadn't seen this alert level in 20 years. "Sir, you need to see this," Lieutenant Torres said, her face pale. The main screen flickered. Sarah Chen's face appeared. Blood ran down her forehead. Behind her, explosions lit up an alien ship's bridge. The recording was shaky, desperate. "Earth Command, this is Ambassador Chen. I'm alive. The Krylons saved me. They broke their own sacred laws to pull me from space. Now they're dying because of it." The screen showed Captain Zork pushing Sarah away from falling debris. His purple blood splattered across the camera. "These beings have 10,000 souls left. Children, Admiral. I've seen their children missing limbs, missing parents. The same pirates who killed our crew are exterminating them. The Krylons saved me when they had nothing left to give. They're dying right now, protecting me." Static filled the screen. Then Sarah's voice returned, stronger. "Admiral, they asked for nothing. They expected nothing. They just couldn't watch another being die alone. If humanity means anything, if our promises of protecting the innocent mean anything, help them." The transmission ended with the sound of the Krylon ship's hull breaching. Admiral Johnson stood in silence. The entire command center waited. 50 staff members, not one breath among them. "Lieutenant Torres," Johnson's voice cut through the silence like thunder, "how many ships do we have ready?" "Sir, the Mars fleet has 200 vessels. Jupiter Station has 150. Earth Orbital Defense has all of them." Torres blinked. "Sir, every single ship. I want the mining vessels armed. I want the colony transports fitted with weapons. I want the Academy training ships loaded with live ammunition. If it can fly and shoot, it goes." General Patricia Webb from the corner spoke up. "Marcus, the Council will never approve." Johnson slammed his fist on the table. The room jumped. "Sarah Chen is family. Earth doesn't leave family behind, and Earth doesn't let child killers live." He turned to the war room's massive tactical display. "Computer, show me everything we have on the Void Hunters." Data flooded the screens. Pirate attacks over 5 years. 30 species victimized. No one had ever fought back successfully. "Sir," Weapons Chief Rahman interrupted, "the prototype quantum shields. They're not tested. Then we test them in battle." Johnson's eyes burned with fury. "How long to outfit the fleet?" 48 hours minimum. "You have 24. The room erupted in controlled chaos. Officers ran to their stations. Calls went out to every human colony, military base, and shipyard. The sleeping giant called humanity had just been kicked awake. On Mars, Commander Yuki Tanaka received the orders. She read them twice, not believing. Operation Reciprocity was the largest military mobilization in human history. Her crew of veterans looked at the orders. "Boss, this is insane. 500 ships for one ambassador?" Tanaka showed them Sarah's message, the part where the Krylon children hugged Sarah while their ship burned. Not for one ambassador. For 10,000 beings who saved her when they had nothing. Jupiter Station erupted with activity. Ships that hadn't flown in decades powered up. Retired pilots reported for duty without being called. The word spread through human space like wildfire. Someone saved one of ours. Now we save all of theirs. Meanwhile, in deep space, the situation grew desperate. Sarah gripped a Krylon pulse rifle, her hands shaking. The Void Hunter fleet surrounded them. 1,000 ships against 3 damaged Krylon vessels. Captain Zork lay unconscious, purple blood pooling beneath him. His daughter, barely 50 years old, a child for Krylons, held his hand. "Human Sarah," the child whispered. "Will your people come?" Sarah didn't know how to answer. Earth was so far away. Even if they got the message, even if they cared, it would take days to arrive. "Yes," she lied. "They'll come." The lead pirate ship broadcast a message. The voice was cold, mechanical. "Krylon vessels, surrender the human. We might let some of you live as slaves." Sarah stood up. "Like hell." She activated the ship's communication system. "This is Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth. You want me? Come and get me." The pirates laughed. Their laughter echoed through space. Back on Earth, Admiral Johnson stood before the assembled fleet. 512 ships, 2 million volunteers, the largest armada ever assembled, but more importantly, every ship carried the new quantum armor systems, reverse engineers, and from the debris of Sarah's destroyed ship. "Ladies and gentlemen," Johnson's voice reached every ship, "a species with nothing saved one of ours. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you save a human. We show them what happens when you hunt our friends." He paused, looking at the stars. "Jump in 3, 2, 1. Space itself screamed as 500 ships tore through reality, racing toward coordinates they'd never seen, to save beings they'd never met, because one human asked them to. The universe was about to learn why humans were the most dangerous species when protecting their own. The battle begins. Captain Zork woke to the sound of his daughter crying. Purple tears ran down young Kira's face as another explosion shook their ship. The Star Whisper was dying. Half the hull had been blown away. Only emergency shields kept the air inside. "Father, the humans. They're not coming, are they?" Zork pulled himself up, his 4 arms shaking from blood loss. Through the cracked viewport, he saw death itself. 1,000 Void Hunter ships formed a sphere around the 3 remaining Krylon vessels, like predators playing with wounded prey. Sarah Chen stood at the weapons console, her fingers flying across alien controls she'd learned in just 3 hours. "Kira, your father needs medical gel. Go." The young Krylon ran off. Zork dragged himself to Sarah's side. "Human. Sarah, you should take the escape pod. They want us, not you." Sarah didn't even look at him. She fired another pulse burst, destroying 2 enemy fighters. "Captain, with respect, shut up. I'm not leaving. You'll die for nothing." "Wrong." Sarah's eyes blazed with determination. "I'll die standing with friends." The second Krylon ship, Memory of Home, exploded, 800 souls gone in an instant. Children, elders, healers, gone. Sarah's hands froze on the controls. 800 voice. Silenced. The lead Void Hunter ship broadcast again. The commander appeared on screen. It wasn't what Sarah expected. The pirate leader was humanoid, but his skin was coal black with red veins pulsing underneath. His eyes were hollow pits of darkness. "I am Krieg, destroyer of worlds. Krylon scum, you have 1 minute. Give us the human, and we'll make your deaths quick." Sarah grabbed the communication device. "Krieg, this is Ambassador Chen. I've sent everything to Earth. Your face, your ships, your location. They know what you've done." Krieg laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. "Earth, they are 40 light years away. By the time they arrive, we'll be ghosts in the wind, and you'll be atoms in space." 43 seconds left, his tactical officer announced. In the Star Whisper's makeshift medical bay, 200 Krylon children huddled together. The older ones sang quiet songs to keep the younger ones calm. They knew death was coming. Their species had been running for so long, they were tired of being afraid. An elder named Vosk stood before them. "Children, remember this. We chose to save the human because it was right. We die with honor." A tiny voice spoke up. "But I don't want to die." Sarah heard this through the ship's comm. Her rage became something else, something colder, more dangerous. "Captain Zork, your weapons. Do they have a overload function?" "Yes, but it would destroy our own ship. Not if we angle the shields right." Sarah's fingers danced across the controls. "I'm going to do something insane." 20 seconds, Krieg announced, enjoying every moment. Sarah rerouted all power to forward shields and weapons. The ship's lights died. Life support stopped. They had 30 seconds of air left. "Sarah, what are you—" "Captain, tell your people to brace." Sarah fired everything, every weapon, every charge, every last piece of defensive systems convert into offense. The Star Whisper became a burning spear of light, driving straight toward Krieg's command ship. The Void Hunters opened fire. 10,000 plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams converged on the tiny Krylon vessel. But something impossible happened. The shots hit nothing. Space behind the Star Whisper tore open like fabric. One ship emerged, then 10, then 50, then hundreds. 512 Earth vessels exploded from hyperspace in perfect formation. They didn't slow down. They didn't announce themselves. They just appeared between the Krylon ship and certain death, taking every shot meant for the Star Whisper. The plasma bolts hit Earth ships, and nothing. They absorbed the impacts like rain on steel. The new quantum armor didn't just deflect the attacks, it ate them. Admiral Johnson's voice filled every frequency. "Void Hunters, this is the Earth Defense Fleet. You fired on our ambassador. You hunted our friends. Surrender now, or we will end you." Krieg's hollow eyes widened. "Impossible! You couldn't have traveled here so fast." "We broke a few laws of physics," Johnson replied coldly. "We tend to do that when family is threatened." Sarah collapsed at her station, tears streaming. They came. They actually came. Captain Zork stared in awe. 500 ships. For us? A private channel opened. Admiral Johnson spoke directly to Sarah. "Ambassador Chen, good to see you alive. We brought friends." "Friends?" Space tore open again. Ships from Mars, mining vessels from the asteroid belt, colony ships with hastily attached weapons, transport vessels filled with volunteers, the human merchant fleet, even luxury cruise ships fitted with railguns. The count rose. 600 ships. 800. 1,000. Humanity hadn't just sent a fleet. They'd sent everyone. Krieg's voice cracked. We have 1,000 ships too. It's even." Johnson laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Even? You think this is even? You haven't seen what humans do to child killers?" He switched to fleet frequency. "All ships, activate Protocol 7. The Earth ships began to glow. The quantum armor wasn't just defensive. It was about to become something else. In the Star Whisper, Kira pressed against the viewport. "Father, what's happening to their ships?" Zork had studied many species' technologies, but this was impossible. "They're turning their shields into weapons. The energy they absorb from the attacks, they're sending it back." Sarah smiled weakly. "We call it reciprocity. Everything you give us, we return, with interest." Krieg ordered full retreat, but it was too late. 1,000 Void Hunter ships tried to run. They'd terrorized the galaxy for decades. They'd destroyed worlds, murdered children, erased entire civilizations. Now they faced something they'd never encountered before. Humanity enraged. The Earth fleet moved as one organism. Not to attack, not yet. They formed a perfect sphere around the Void Hunters. No escape, no mercy coming. Admiral Johnson spoke once more. "You wanted to see what happens when you save one human. Watch carefully." Every Earth ship began charging weapons. The stars themselves seemed to dim. In the Star Whisper, Captain Zork held his daughter. Around them, Krylon survivors watched in amazement. The hunters had become the hunted. Sarah stood despite her exhaustion. She had one more message to send. "Krieg," she said softly, "you asked for me. Here I am. Come and get me." The 1,000 Void Hunter ships fired everything in desperation. The Earth fleet fired back. Space itself cracked under the fury of humanity's response. Humanity's fury. The first Void Hunter ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. The quantum weapons humanity unleashed converted matter directly into energy, then into nothing. Where a battlecruiser had been, only glowing particles remained, drifting like funeral ashes in space. Krieg watched his fleet disappear, not destroyed, erased. "What are these monsters?" his tactical officer whispered. In 3 minutes, 400 Void Hunter ships became memory, but Admiral Johnson raised his hand and the Earth fleet stopped firing. "Krieg," Johnson's voice cut through space, "you have 600 ships left. I'm giving you one chance. Tell us where every pirate base is, every slave camp, every hidden fleet, or we demonstrate what our doomsday weapons can do." Krieg's red veins pulsed with rage. "You think you've won? We have bases in dead systems, places you'll never find. We'll rebuild and burn Earth to—" Sarah Chen interrupted him. "Admiral, request permission to show them something." "Granted." Sarah pulled up her wrist display. "Krieg, you said we'd never find your bases? Your flagship's computer says otherwise." On screen appeared coordinates, hundreds of them. Secret bases, slave camps, weapon deposits, hidden fleets across the galaxy. Krieg's black face turned gray. "Impossible. Our encryption was broken 3 minutes ago," Sarah said. "While you were watching your ships die, I uploaded a quantum virus to your network. Earth's gift to murderers." Admiral Johnson opened a fleet-wide channel. "Strike Teams Alpha through Omega. You have your targets. Clean sweep authorized." 200 Earth ships vanished into hyperspace, not toward home, toward every Void Hunter base in the galaxy. Krieg tried to warn his bases. No signals went through. The virus had locked everything. "Please," Krieg begged. "We surrender. We have prisoners, slaves. They'll die if you attack." Captain Zork, still weak, managed to stand. "Admiral Johnson, if I may speak." "Go ahead, Captain." "The Void Hunters took 90,000 Kralons as slaves. If they're still alive—" Johnson's voice became ice. "Strike teams, new orders, rescue protocols active. Any slave, any prisoner, any survivor, bring them home. Any pirate who resists, end them." What happened next echoed through the galaxy for generations. Earth ships appeared at 127 locations simultaneously. They didn't negotiate. They didn't threaten. They acted. At mining station Xerox 7, 50 Kralon children worked in radioactive conditions. Earth's 7th Fleet arrived. The pirates had 3 seconds to surrender. They chose to fight. The station's pirate crew of 300 became vapor. The children were transported to medical ships. At the slave market on Tengris Moon, thousands of various species were caged for sale. Earth's Marines dropped from orbit. No shots were fired. The pirates saw human soldiers and surrendered immediately. They'd heard what happened to those who fought. Back at the main battle, Krieg watched his empire crumble in real time. Base after base went dark. His life's work destroyed in minutes. "Why?" he screamed at Sarah. "She was just one human. Why do all this for one person?" Sarah looked at the view screen. Behind her, Kralon children pecked out, no longer afraid. "You're right. This isn't about one person anymore." She walked to Captain Zork's daughter, Kira, and put her hand on the child's shoulder. "It's about her, about all the children you orphaned, about the worlds you burned." Admiral Johnson's fleet began moving, not attacking, just closing in. The sphere grew smaller. "But mainly," Sarah continued, "it's about sending a message." "What message?" Krieg whispered. Every Earthship spoke in unison. 2 million human voices as one. Save one human, gain an eternal ally. Harm one human, face extinction. Krieg made his last mistake. He ordered his remaining ships to ram the Krylon vessels. If he was dying, he'd take them with him. The Void Hunter fleet surged forward. Earth's ships didn't move to intercept. They did something else. Every human vessel linked their quantum shields, creating a barrier around the 3 Krylon ships. Not just protection, complete isolation from harm. The first Void Hunter ship hit the barrier and reflected back at twice the speed, crashing into another pirate vessel. Both exploded. Reciprocity protocol complete, the Earth fleet announced. What followed wasn't a battle, it was surgery. Earth's forces carved through the Void Hunter fleet with precision. They disabled engines, destroyed weapons, removed threats. Any pirate who surrendered lived. Any who fought vanished. In 20 minutes, the Void Hunter empire ended. Krieg's ship floated alone, powerless, surrounded by the debris of his fleet. Admiral Johnson appeared on screen. "Krieg, you're going to live. You'll stand trial. Every species you hurt will speak. Then you'll spend eternity remembering this day." "Kill me," Krieg begged. "No. Death is mercy. You get justice." As Krieg's ship was tractored away, Sarah finally collapsed. The adrenaline gone, exhaustion took over. Captain Zork caught her with his 4 arms. "Thank you," he whispered. "We're not done," Sarah said weakly. "Your people, the ones in slavery." A communication came through. Commander Tanaka from the rescue fleet. "Admiral, we've found them. 93,000 Krylon survivors across all bases. They're scared but alive. We're bringing them home." Kira started crying, not from sadness, from joy. 93,000? Our people survive? Admiral Johnson's ship docked with the Star Whisper. He walked aboard personally, his magnetic boots clicking on the damaged deck. He stood before Captain Zork and did something no human admiral had ever done. He bowed. "Captain, Earth owes you everything. You saved our ambassador when you had every reason to let her die. Name your price, whatever you need." Zork looked around his broken ship at his frightened people, at the children who'd forgotten how to smile. "We need a home. Our worlds are gone." Johnson smiled. "Earth's 3rd moon is terraformed but uninhabited. It's yours. We'll help you rebuild." "We cannot pay." "Payment?" Johnson looked offended. "Captain, you saved family. Family doesn't pay." 6 months later, New Krylon thrived. The terraformed moon became a paradise of purple forests and silver lakes. Krylon architecture rose from the ground, more beautiful than before. The galaxy watched in awe. Humanity didn't just save the Krylons. They gave them advanced technology, medical support, defensive fleets, and trade agreements. The dying race of 10,000 became 50,000 within a year. But the biggest change was the Galaxy Council's new law, known as the Sarah Protocol. Any species that saves even one human receives permanent protection from Earth's forces. 20 years passed. Ambassador Sarah Chen, now gray-haired, stood in the Grand Hall of New Krylon. Captain Zork, aged but proud, walked beside her. The hall was filled with young Krylons, born free, never knowing fear. "My people number 5 million now," Zork said, "because you kept your promise." Sarah watched Kira, now grown, teaching human and Krylon children together. "No, Captain, because you taught us something." "What?" "That sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change the universe." A young Krylon child ran up, holding a drawing. It showed a human hand and a Krylon hand clasped together against the stars. "Miss Sarah, my teacher says you were the human they saved. Is that true?" Sarah knelt down. "Yes." "Why did they save you?" Captain Zork answered. "Because it was right." The child thought about this. "And humans saved all of us because that's what humans do," Sarah said. "When someone shows us kindness, we return it 1,000-fold." The child smiled and ran off to play with human children visiting from Earth. Zork watched them go. The galaxy fears humans now. Good, Sarah replied. They should fear what we do to those who harm the innocent, but they also seek your protection. Even better, the galaxy learned the most important lesson, which is, Sarah looked at the stars through the transparent dome. Somewhere out there, Earth's fleets patrolled, keeping peace, protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. Save one human, and humanity will move heaven and earth for you. Harm one human, and we'll move heaven and earth against you. She paused, watching the children play together, no longer separated by species or fear. But more importantly, Captain, the galaxy learned that humans never forget kindness. Never. Above New Kralon, Earth's defensive platform stood Eternal Watch. Each bore the same inscription. They saved one. We saved all. This is the way. The Kralons were no longer alone. They never would be again. Because they saved one human floating in space when they had nothing left to give, and humanity never forgets.